everybody. This is car vlog number 2 from the night shift, leaving home. Hope you leaving work. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Give me 1 second. Trying to get up out this spot. Try to get you guys to come in the chat real quick. Wait for this gate. Then we'll be on the road and we're gonna be talking about this situation. Because man, some of y'all been cutting up online. They're cutting up on Facebook, Instagram, and everything. So we gonna talk about this situation. But in the meantime, what's going on, everybody? This is Chris Classic, dropping a car vlog. Hope you guys are having a wonderful night/morning. Nobody tells you, but God loves you, Christ loves you, and I love you as well. I'm praying for you guys. Hope you guys are praying for me. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, the Take It Home Podcast, where I do live videos like I'm doing now. I put up my matches as Classic Alpha, professional wrestler of 13 years, and I talk about wrestling topics. And while you're in the subscribing mood, make sure you subscribe to C3 Ultimate Wrestling. That is me and my wife's professional wrestling company. We have a show August 30th in Dyer, Indiana called The 11th Hour. Get your tickets on Eventbrite now. There'll be $5 more at the door. Bars. All right. So, obviously, the biggest wrestling news of today is the passing of Hulk Hogan. And like I said, it has been very divisive about his death. Some people are celebrating his death. Some people are mourning. Some people are crying. Some people are laughing. Some people are like, it is what it is. So we are here to talk about the situation. Now, I'm going to speak about my opinions and my takes on it. This is a huge blow to the wrestling world. I think Hulk Hogan, what he has done was he saved professional wrestling, where professional wrestling was just a niche, right? But then what he did with Hulkamania and all of this other stuff, and to make it with pomp and circumstance, with charisma and stuff like that. Things that I talk about now that a lot of wrestlers lack, especially when people saying like they're the greatest wrestler or they're this and that, and then they have no personality and stuff. One thing that I will say that I did admire, what up, Maya the Queens? One thing that I will admire about Hulk Hogan was that his wrestling style was less is more. And that's exactly what he did. I know we could talk about like what he was doing in Japan, because in Japan you had to increase your work rate when you went to Japan and stuff like that. But honestly, the WWE style, the American style, the style that a lot of people started to hate, I still enjoyed it because less is more. What are you as a character? It's not always about all the moves that you can do and stuff like that. All right, cool. You can do moves that a lot of other people can't do. All right, cool. But what can you say as a person? Hulkamania, eat your vitamins, say your prayers. All of that stuff is what a lot of people grew up watching. My mom texted me today and she was like, Hulk Hogan passed. I already knew, but she texted me. She's like, Hulk Hogan passed. Watching when I was growing up. And then I'm like, I did hear about it. And then, my brother, my younger brother was no longer with us. He was a huge Hulk Hogan fan. And my mom was like, yep, when I said it. I remember my mom, she bought this book that it was like a magazine. It was like a full magazine of like Hulk Hogan. It was showing some of his great moments in WWE. This was when he came back to WWE and had the Hulk Steel Rules run. That's what I'll call it. And the magazine showed like all the championships he won. It showed all the cars he had. It showed his house and his family and stuff like that. And I remember my brother would look at that book from the beginning page to the last page and read it and look at it backwards, because he was just such a big fan. His favorite theme of Hulk Hogan, he loved Real American, but when Hulk Hogan came out to what is it, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy? I forgot the name of the song. Or is that the name of the song? Like when he came out to that, like my brother like really loved it. The Hulk Hogan run and all of that stuff to the NWO. So Hulk Hogan, especially, like, I don't want to say he personally holds a place in my heart. My brother did. But my brother's favorite wrestler was Hulk Hogan. So, and then even like to say like how much of a generational inspiration and influence he was to people that my mother was watching him when she was growing up, and then I was watching him also growing up, is definitely a big thing. Um, I do think that it's not a lot of people could have did what he did as far as carry not only just the company but professional wrestling as a whole. I do know that. What's up, Gage? What up, Stitch? I do know that a lot of people don't want to be like, obviously, and we'll talk about it in a few minutes. Oh, well, he took this person's flow, he took this person's shine, he took this person's style. And sure, there was a lot of that stuff. I'm not trying to validate it, but there's a lot of that kind of stuff that goes on in professional wrestling. Shoot, it goes on in professional wrestling now. It's a lot of stuff that goes on, and some people try to take their own version of it and they try to flip it. With the Dusty Rhodes, people will talk about the Thunderbolt Patterson, and then they'll talk about other people and stuff like that. And they'll be like, hey, he took inspiration from this person and stuff like that. Thank you. I appreciate that, Stitch. Some people will say, well, this person took this thing from that. And this is true. Some people look alike, some people dress alike and stuff, because people are trying to do things that are that makes them money and gets them looks and stuff. But as far as the longevity of what he has done for wrestling, that is something that nobody could ever take away. As far as, and I'll also say this before we go more deeper into it. My wrestling name, before it was Classic Alpha, before I became the superhero that saves professional wrestling, my name was Chris Classic, right? And I call myself Chris Classic as part as this podcast and stuff like that. This is just something I do feel like I'll never leave my life. That's how I feel. And what up, Kaden? And Chris Classic, I started off as a old school wrestler. So like one of my favorite old school wrestlers was Macho Man, and he used to have like the fringe tights and stuff like that, and the different color stuff, and and that's what I was trying to be, like an 80s wrestler back in the day. Colors, large and like personality and stuff like that. The stuff like the Hogans and the Ultimate Warriors and the Macho Mans and stuff like that, the Roddies and all, trying to have things like that. He's like one of the reasons why I wanted to do it, because that was like one of my favorite things. Stuff like that. Every time I pass this certain area of woods, all of a sudden it reconnects. So hopefully you guys didn't miss a lot of the stuff that I did say. But huge fan of old school wrestling, and it's one of the reasons why I became Chris Classic. Now, Classic Alpha still has the old school merit in certain things, but I am also here to save professional wrestling. So now I can see why a lot of people are sad. And like I said, I am praying for his family and stuff like that. I can also see why people do not care, right? But what I won't do is, I won't personally be like, okay, I'm celebrating his death. I don't think that I would like to celebrate somebody's death. Yes, he has done a lot of stuff. I made videos about politicking and creative control and stuff. He's done things, he's put people under the bus, he's threw people under the bus, and he's lied so much. Yes, he's done all of that stuff or whatever like that. So if you don't really care for him, this isn't to really make you care for the guy. If you don't care for him, you don't care for him. That's your choice. But still, at the same time, it's just like me. I'm not celebrating the death. I'm not making a meme above it and stuff. And I made like a song, like I made fun of when he showed up on Raw on Netflix and he got booed out the building. And I made a song. And it was like, it wasn't just to per se like disrespect them. It's just, I'm just like to joke stuff with them. You guys can still look at it if you like. It's still up or whatever like that. But I'm not about to make memes and stuff. I make memes and make videos and stuff. But I'm not about to do that, because I don't really just try to make fun of somebody's death or whatever like that. Right? Going into the Raw Netflix thing, that was the last time we seen him on TV, let alone like a wrestling platform, was that. And he got booed out the building. You could tell he was shocked. I think a lot of people were shocked and some people weren't. I think just the thing was, everything that he has done in his personal life and even in his wrestling life behind the scenes, I think it caught up to him. The internet and social media, they keep receipts. They keep receipts about the stuff that you do and you say. Something that gets on the internet, I think being on the internet is worse than being in the streets. You know, in the streets, you could probably move somewhere and probably change your life or whatever like that. But on the internet, you can change your life and move and stuff. But if it's something still on there that pertains to you, and especially if it's negative, it's definitely going to stay on for a long time. Then other people are going to download it, other people are going to share it. Then other people are going to download and share it and make it their own video and stuff like that because they want to go viral and everything like that. And I think that he transitioned from the part of it was hearsay and you know, a shoot and this and that. Now people have receipts. Now there's video of you saying something. Now the racist remark that he did say, it was behind closed doors and he was doing something with somebody he wasn't supposed to. That's as far as I'm gonna go about that situation. And he was very open about it. And when he said that, a lot of people's like, oh, okay, well, he's admitting it, you know. Hey, if you're gonna admit it, then that's just who you are and stuff, you know. And he did apologize, and some people said it was a half apology. Then it was just like, oh, I just got caught. Like they said it was more of he was apologizing for getting caught, but not just saying what he said. So like I said, if you don't care for him, that's your choice. If you forgave him, cool. If not, just forgive him. I ain't saying forgive him as in like, hey, just be cool with him and admire his work and subscribe and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, if you have a personal gripe towards him, you need to forgive him for the sake of you. Because and that's what people just need to do in general to people who've done you wrong. I'm not sitting there saying you got to be best friends or you got to get them money or you got to do all of that stuff. But sometimes people just have so much hatred in their heart, or they just not letting stuff go. And sometimes holding on is way more painful than letting go. So it's just like you forgive them for the sake of you or whatever. You know, I've had some friends and people online, they posted, they said, hey man, like, you know, I don't like him, but he's done a lot for the business and you can't deny it. And I'm like, even then, that's a sign of respect, right? Just a sign of respect, because sometimes people can differentiate between the person and the wrestler. And I've made videos about this before. I've talked about that. I was like, you know, sometimes it is hard to separate the wrestler from the person or whatever like that. You can sit there and say, okay, well, this person is a great wrestler, but as a person, like a personal, you know, their personal life and stuff is just so messed up. So I could definitely see that even with Hulk Hogan, you know. But when you have something like Benoit, that situation and what he did, a lot of people see that as inexcusable, and they're like, okay, well, we don't even want to bring his name up because of the stuff that he did. Because not only did he do something to him, he did something to his family who didn't have a choice, right? So I can definitely understand, like, if people say, yeah, I love Hulk Hogan, but I dislike, or I don't want to say hate, because hate is the wrong word. Like, I love Hulk Hogan, but I dislike Terry Bollea, because that's his real name. Everybody's exposing everything, and it is, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, the man has done a lot of stuff, and I do think that a lot of the stuff that he has done is caught up to him. Between the politics stuff, the allegations, the videos, and lying. You know, a lot of people know that he's just been lying about, hey, I helped create this, I helped create that. And I'm not going to sit here and say I know everything that he's telling the truth for, but I do think that he did help a lot of people, you know. I do think that he contributed, but maybe he put himself first. I mean, a lot of people put themselves first now, and nobody's going to really talk about that, right? Even then, you know, now people talk about you're the Hogan of a company. That doesn't sound good, don't it? It don't. You know, when Mercedes Moné, she was winning all of these matches. Yeah, it's still hard to believe. It definitely at 71. Like, and I was just talking to my homie. I was like, you know, we all have a death day, right? We're all gonna pass, right? That's why you gotta learn. You gotta realize that treat people right. You know, seek God first, because we don't know when we're gonna leave, right? He's 71, so that's a life. That's a full life for the most part. But still, he's like one of those guys that's just like you wouldn't expect to pass, even though you know people are going to pass, if that makes sense, right? You know, Michael Jackson and stuff like that. Like, oh my gosh, not Michael Jackson, like what's going on and stuff like that. And, you know, people like that, it's just like, you know, you say all of a sudden and expected, but they said he was like sick and he was like going through some stuff leading up to this anyway. So yeah, it's definitely like a shock. It's definitely a big shock to the situation. But even then, like going back to like how people can say, oh well, this person is the Hogan or you're Hogan in this, like Mercedes Moné in AEW, you know, she's won so many titles and she's won a lot of her matches, and a lot of people started calling her Mercedes Hogan. They started making memes with Hogan's mustache on her. And then even Becky, right? Becky came back and won the Intercontinental title fast from Lyra, and people was calling her Becky Hogan and all of this stuff. And then Becky even dressed in Hulk Hogan's colors and stuff. So that, you know, that's not a good term to be called in wrestling. Like when people be like, "Oh, you acting like Hogan," you would think, "Oh, well, I'm saving a company, I'm doing something great." No, they're saying you're using your politics and you're only caring for yourself. So these are kind of things that he kind of put on himself. And like I said, sometimes life, even God will humble you. It'll humble you. It doesn't matter if you are the greatest of all times. It doesn't matter if all of that stuff. Sometimes that stuff does catch up to you. And I do think a lot of the stuff did catch up to him. And I think he was even shocked when the whole building booed him for even promoting his beer and stuff like that, his political standpoints and all of that stuff. Some stuff I do believe is off limits when it comes to certain things. And, you know, I'm not going to speak much about his family, but, you know, even certain things that was going on with his family, a lot of people were scratching their head and they were just like, you know what, this is crazy and stuff like that. So I think a lot of that stuff just add it all together, just put it all together to like people being like, hey man, you know, we don't like you. We don't like you because of this and because of that. Now, I do know that, like, they were saying, like, last year or whatever like that, or even 2023, it was like he gave his life to Christ. And you guys know how I feel about that, and hopefully it's legit. And, you know, he did right and he lived right all to the rest. But a lot of people are going to bring up receipts with everything. Rest in peace, Terry Hogan. Hollywood Hogan. Yeah. What up, Arshawn? How you doing, bro? But yeah, I think that we can appreciate his work as a wrestler, because I don't think a lot of people can carry that burden of what he has done for wrestling. I want us to realize what it was like in WWF beating the Sheik and Hulkamania starting in the 80s and stuff like that, and being a staple in WWE, right? Or WWF, whatever you want to call it, and stuff for so long. And then leaving and going to WCW, the rival company, and not only doing that, turning evil with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and doing the NWO, and everybody thinking that is the coolest thing ever, right? With a ball spot. Mind you, this man had a ball spot when he was 30, but still, I'm just saying. And then that led to WCW beating WWE in the ratings for, 83, 84 weeks and stuff like that. It got stale, but still, people wanted to see it. They wanted to see Hulk Hogan and stuff. What are they going to do? Who are they going to beat up and stuff like that? Especially with, like, Hulk Hogan and how he was acting and stuff. So to lead the charge dang near for two major companies, that's dang near unheard of, yo. That's unheard of. Like, even to this day, you've had people who have been champions in both companies of AEW and WWE, but they haven't led a charge for both companies, and it wasn't much of must-see, right? It's crazy. So to me, we can sit here and we can respect the legacy of Hulk Hogan, but we may not be like, hey, I think that, you know, Terry's a great guy. Like I said, you know, hopefully, you know, he got right with God and everything leading up to this and stuff like that. You know, this is just proof that time waits for no man, and we can go just like that, right? We can definitely go just like that. It doesn't matter who you are, how much money you got, how many followers you got. It doesn't matter if he was influencing wrestling or it was just a landscape of things, right? Big Cheddar listening to see how you feel about it. Thank you, appreciate it. So it doesn't matter. Now, joking, I'm going to add some jokes in here. Y'all know me, I had to add some jokes. Now, I know some people, they in here, they're shocked and they're sad that Hulk Hogan is passed. But I remember one guy, he was like, man, Hulk Hogan, man, rest in peace, man, gone too soon. Man, 71 is young. It's too young to be done. Bam! No, it's not. 71, ain't that like our life expectancy? Like 72 or something like that? Like, homie had one more year. 1 year. Like, let's not act like 71 is the new 61, let alone the new 51. Let's not do that. Come on, y'all. Come on, man. That man lived a full life. He lived a life that a lot of people wish and dream they can have, especially as a wrestler. Talking about the wrestling and the success part, not the other dark stuff that happened at the end. But we gonna say we're gonna talk about 71 and act like that's like young. Like who's saying, oh man, that's young? I'm like, yeah, that ain't young. Stop. Please, he wasn't a baby. Right, he wasn't a baby. Come on, man. Maybe if you said 60, maybe. 71, come on, bro. That's 29 years until 100. Life expectancy gotta be respect to this man, sure. To say that 71 is young, like, I don't like that 71 is the new 61 or 51. Like, come on, man. Like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Oh, and some of the other people, some are like, who don't care for him, right? Oh, well, mama said, or daddy said, or such and such said, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. That's the post. Why say something at all? Why did you even say something at all? Help me, y'all. Help me. Why did you say something? Like, obviously, people are probably going to assume that you don't like him anyway if you don't post about him and if you're big of a wrestling fan. Honestly, I'm just saying. Mama said, don't say nothing. I ain't say nothing at all. So that's all I'm going to say. Watching the crash out. Bro, look. Shout out to you, Yellow. I'm not sitting here, and once again, I'm not advocating for people to be like, y'all should like Hogan, but y'all should separate. I'm just saying, it's possible. But I'm just saying, people have a right to like who they like. And like I said, sometimes people say things, and we all do, that it's not meant to be on the public, and maybe everything that we say, a lot of people are not going to like, right? You know what I'm saying? So we act like we're going to always agree with everything that's going on. And let me say this too, because I don't want to make it just seem like it's just all black folks that's saying F Hogan and white folks is saying, oh my gosh, rest in peace and stuff. It's a mixed bag, y'all. It's definitely a mixed bag. It is a mixed bag. It is a mixed crawfish boil with potatoes and corn and all that. Now, I heard the Red Lobster ones ain't that good, but it's a mixed bag. I've seen some black people say F Hogan, and I've seen them also say rest in peace, my childhood and stuff. I've seen some white folks say F Hulk Hogan and rest in peace, my childhood. So even then, this is something to provoke thought too, right? Because some people love him and some people don't. And it is what it is. It's just how it is. Some people's like, F Hogan is racist, this and that. And some people's just like, how could you hate Hogan and stuff? It has been a crash out, Yellow. I will agree with you 100%. Nothing but a crash out about this situation. It's been nothing but a crash out. I'm personally not celebrating somebody's death. I've seen pictures of people showing pictures of dances. I've seen people do this kind of stuff. Some people are saying, how could you hate Hogan? I'm not even going to be like, come on, bruh. Like, you can literally like put on YouTube why people hate Hogan. Or you can look at articles and stuff like that. Yeah, the man politicked. The man lied. The man said some stuff that he was saying and stuff. And yeah, he probably felt that he didn't have to hold himself accountable, because I really do feel like he felt that he was on top of the world. He felt that he was Hulk Hogan. But people don't forget. Even if he did apologize, I'm telling you, man, the more negative you are, and even if you change your life and stuff, become positive, people are still going to put that negative stain on your jacket. It don't matter how clean you get. They're going to continue to do that. And I'm not going to sit here and say he was the cleanest person or whatever like that, but that's just something that people are going to say, you know? So anything that he does, it doesn't matter. People are going to boo him, and they are going to like what he is. Like I said, I do think him being booed in Netflix, they're around Netflix, I do think that was something that was a reality check for him. I do think he thought that these people was going to be happy to see him. They was going to be cheering for him. Nuh-uh. They still remember the stuff that you said, and he was still lying to that point too. He was lying a lot. That was the reason why this happened. That was the reason why that happened. And people coming out of nowhere like, hey, bro, what are you talking about? When he called Shelton Benjamin Shelton and stuff, and then even Shelton Benjamin got mad at him. He was like, hey, bro, that ain't my name. Like, who's Benjamin Shelton? So, yeah, I mean, yeah, man. Still a shock to the wrestling world. I'm not going to sit here and act like, you know, it's you know, it's I'm still shocked. Honestly, I'm still shocked about the situation. Uh, I don't even really want to say I'm shocked by the reactions because people have said certain things about him anyway. But I'm just, you know, I know he had like the wrestling thing that he was about to do, and it was about to launch and stuff. I know he got the beer that that people are Arshawn said he's about to buy some Great American beer. I don't drink beer, so I think beer is disgusting. I think all beer tastes the same. I think wine tastes like beer. I think champagne tastes like beer. I'm trying not to drink liquor at all because majority of it is just nasty. I just think, you know, I don't know if I'm getting older. I know this is a sidebar, but ride with me. I don't know what it is, but I gotta have something to make that taste good. Like, come on, man. Like, I love Crown Royal Apple, but I gotta make it with cran apple juice to make it taste good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. And then it's expensive too. It's almost like gasoline with that Crown Royal unleaded. But still, he never snaked me. Racism ain't my deal breaker for a performer. Politics ain't it either. I ain't gotta hang with you to enjoy your craft. And you know what, Arshawn? That's a good point, right? Some people watch wrestling to escape that stuff, right? Some people watch it to escape it. Oh, I don't want to hear nothing about politics. I don't want to hear nothing about racism. I don't want to hear nothing about hatred. I just want to see this person fight this person. That's it. And sometimes the fans are bringing in to wrestling. And sometimes WWE or AEW, they'll do it too with certain situations and certain things that they promote. But still, I do think that, like, sometimes wrestling and video games and stuff is an escape from certain things, right? And I do think that, like, sometimes people get mad and they get turned off because it's with that, or even on social media, right? To each their own. That's what I say. I say to each their own when it comes to that kind of situation, right? You know, with video games and movies and all of that stuff, a lot of people, they are getting mad because they do feel like they're adding unnecessary things. And they're like, hey, I just want to be taken away in a world where none of this stuff exists. But sometimes people now, they're trying to make money. So how are you going to do that? You're going to try to I wouldn't even say that they're trying to be inclusive. I think that they are pandering to the most part. Because to me, if they wanted to be as inclusive as they want, they were making more inclusive movies that promote inclusivity and stuff. What you don't do is you don't change somebody's character and make them inclusive. I think that's the problem. I think you want to test what the money is, make movies that talk about this and make original stuff and characters and cast and stuff and see it. And I know it ain't gonna work, but still, he never snaked me neither, Arshawn. What he said about what he said in that tape that he wasn't supposed to be with that lady, yeah, I can see why, and I understand why people are upset with him. Because he even said, he was like, even after, he was like, aren't we all a little racist? And it's like, some people was taken aback that he said it, because basically you're just admitting that's just what you are. I mean, that's what you are, or whatever, you know. Could he have changed from that 10 years? Which is crazy, because they said he passed 10 years after that video dropped. Excuse me. That's crazy in itself. Oh man, he only has light beer around me. Still make right one for the host. And even then, some people are going. I wouldn't be surprised if that beer had a spike in sales because people want to support him and stuff like that. You know, this dude has been a part of a lot of people's childhood as Hulk Hogan. You definitely can differentiate Terry from Hogan if you want to. That's people's choice and stuff like that. If he didn't go through all that spinal surgery and stuff, he probably would still be wrestling to this day. Like I said, if anything, when I do think of Hulk Hogan, I do think of my brother and stuff like that, and how much he loved Hulk Hogan. And this is also something too. I just talked about, like, even yesterday, about Bryan Danielson saying he felt a certain way about WrestleMania 30. His match wasn't all that and stuff. Stop meeting your heroes. Meet me. I'm a good hero. I'm a good one. You know, some of these people probably think just like this man. Some of these people probably got politics and power just like he did. Well, not as big as he did, but be careful. You know, y'all. Some people follow these wrestlers on social media and all of this stuff, and sometimes they be open about certain things and how they feel. And my thing is this: I'm not gonna sit here and say what they say is right and wrong, but at the same time, they're probably gonna say something that's gonna mess you up. Jada Parker, she said certain things about women's sports, and I know people got mad at her. People get mad at Nia Jax all the time. And I'm not sitting there saying you should be mad at them or whatever like that, but I'm just saying, if you want to enjoy wrestling and just enjoy wrestling, I don't think following these people's personal accounts is going to help you feel anything, especially when it's time for voting season and stuff. Because I remember when Batista, he was advocating to vote Democrat and vote for Harris and stuff. And then Trump, he pulled up with the Brothers of Destruction, Kane and the Undertaker, about voting for him and stuff like that. So it's just like, to me, if you want that escape, don't go to these people's accounts and stuff like that. Hogan was a little different at one point because that video came out and he sued them people who released it because it was nasty anyway. But he sued them and got a lot of money because it was a personal thing that wasn't supposed to come out. But even then, he was showing up to rallies and stuff like that, and he was showing who he was voting for and stuff like that. So yeah, be careful. If you know, some of these people, like if social media wasn't around, I think more people obviously would love Hulk Hogan and stuff, because sometimes it'll just be rumors about him doing stuff. But now things are so different with like the YouTube and all of that stuff. Now I'm not gonna sit here and say I believe everything that man has done that people are allegedly saying, but still, that's just something. You know, cases were moving. Oh yeah, them cases was definitely moving today, yo. Them cases definitely, like, when somebody pass away, whatever they are or whatever like that, people will look at it or people will order it because they want to show love and support. And I do love it. I do like it. I mean, like, but sometimes it's like, dang, people got to pass to get supported more and stuff. You know, music and all that. Like Aaliyah, when she passed away, everybody bought her album and stuff like that. And I like it, but still, you know, even now, even with Malcolm Jamal Warner passing, I see a lot of clips of Cosby Show. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it, man. I gotta find all the full season set. I gotta bring back to the DVDs. I don't think it's on the streaming site. I definitely want to see that and stuff like that because, you know, hey, man, still, you know. Now, let me say this too. Sidebar again. So I know we lost Malcolm either Saturday, and then today we lost Hogan. So now people are like, oh, it always come in threes. Saying that. Please stop saying that. Y'all gonna make me mad. Stop saying that. Stop saying that. Oh, it all come in threes. Who's next? Because that just shows y'all how some people value other people's life more than others. People pass away every day. People pass away every minute, every second, every millisecond. There's a death, unfortunately. Now, I'm praying, obviously, for the people that are affected by it. But just because these are people either you grew up with or you admired or you liked or they have a celebrity status, it doesn't mean like something bad. It's like, oh, it's just a Grim Reaper that's just taking all the celebrities away. Oh, it's a celebrity Grim Reaper. Oh, he's just taking it. No, people pass every day. And I'm not laughing at that people pass every day, but it's just like, I remember, what was it, 2020? Like, with outside, even with the COVID stuff, like so many people, celebrities passed away, and people, oh my God, it's like, God dang, 2020, it's just getting worse. It's getting worse because all of these celebrities was passing